There has been plenty of coverage this draft season of this year's prospects in terms of X's and O's and their on-field tape, but Football Ancestry takes a different approach to draft season. Join me in this 2021 draft special episode in which we take a look at prospects throughout the draft and analyze their family connections to previous NFL players. Which future NFL rookies have the most impressive football bloodlines? Well, let's find out. The 2021 NFL Draft has numerous connections to NFL players of the past. And while we will showcase a variety here in this episode, our main focus will be on 4 different cornerbacks who all share one thing: they have strong football families. Let's take a look. Our first draft prospect is the cornerback from Alabama, Patrick Surtain II. The 3 biggest strengths of the 6'2" corner are his size, his instincts, and his ball skills. Many have him ranked as a top cornerback in this year's draft, or close to it. And those strengths that I've just mentioned, they can all be linked to his football heritage. His father was, of course, Patrick Surtain. Surtain Sr. played in the NFL for 11 years between the Miami Dolphins and Kansas City Chiefs. During that time, he finished with 37 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 8 forced fumbles, and 7.5 sacks. His legacy, measured by awards for our purposes, includes 3 Pro Bowls and 1 first-team All-Pro appearance in 2002. A solid overall career. Patrick Surtain Jr. can hopefully build off his father's football heritage and translate his talents from college standout to NFL star. Our next big-name cornerback draft prospect is Jaycee Horn. Horn is considered one of, if not the best, corner in this 2021 NFL draft. But what makes him so special? Well, it's his size and physicality. Horn's ability to aggressively attack opponents while in man coverage, while also being fluid in his movements, or what makes him so appealing to NFL scouts. Where can we attribute these physical tools coming from? His father, Joe Horn. Joe Horn played NFL wide receiver for 12 years, mostly with the Saints, but also with stops in Kansas City and Atlanta. Joe Horn amassed 8,744 yards receiving in his career, along with 58 touchdown catches and a catch percentage of 57.4%. During his career, he made 4 Pro Bowl appearances, while his best season came in 2004, when he caught 94 passes for 1,399 yards and 11 touchdowns. Jaycee Horn has been gifted his father's physical tools. In fact, quite literally, Joe Horn, his father, was 6'1" and 213 pounds, while Jaycee Horn himself is 6'1", 205 pounds, so almost the exact same body type. And Jaycee Horn hopes to continue to maximize those tools and continue to blaze his own trail on the defensive side of the football in the NFL. Asante Samuel Jr. is ranked in the top 10 of cornerbacks entering the 2021 NFL Draft. Playing his collegiate career at Florida State, the 5'10" corner showcased plenty of flashes to intrigue NFL scouts. Draft experts say Samuel Jr. displayed outstanding man coverage ability and, despite his smaller size, was still a very willing participant in tackling and the run game. Where does Asante Samuel Jr. get his football savviness and love for the game? You've probably guessed it by now. It's none other than his father, former NFL cornerback Asante Samuel. After an 11-year NFL career for the Patriots, Eagles, and Falcons, Asante Samuel hauled in 51 interceptions, returning 6 of those for touchdowns, and added on 7 forced fumbles. Asante Samuel was a playmaker throughout his career, making 4 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances between 2007 and 2010, and he earned first-team All-Pro honors in that 2007 season. But if you look at the years, one of his craziest seasons came in 2006, when he terrorized quarterbacks by causing 10 interceptions, 24 pass defenses, and 1 forced fumble. Asante Samuel Jr. will look to follow his father's footsteps when he enters the NFL level as a fiery corner with a knack for splashy plays. The 4th and final cornerback with NFL roots heading into this draft class that I'm going to highlight is Mark Gilbert. Gilbert is not ranked near the top of most NFL draft big boards, but it's not from a lack of physical tools or from a lack of football pedigree. Let's go back to 2017, where Gilbert was just starting his collegiate career, and it was a promising one. He had 6 interceptions and he made first-team All-ACC honors. However, that strong beginning was quickly derailed. He suffered a hip injury in the 2018 season, causing him to not only miss that season, but also the 2019 season. He then only played 2 games in the 2020 season before suffering a foot injury, before eventually opting out and declaring for the NFL draft. So the biggest question he has is his injuries, but the talent was there, and he can thank some of that talent and his physical tools to his football bloodlines. Now, he has no direct connection like a father in our previous examples, but the NFL genes still run in his family. His uncle was Sean Gilbert, who played defensive tackle in the NFL, and his cousin is none other than the legendary cornerback Darrelle Revis. I'll start with Sean Gilbert, his uncle, who brings his power and strength as a defensive tackle for 11 years in the NFL. Sean Gilbert ended his career with 42.5 sacks and 475 tackles, but he also had a talent for making special plays, getting 11 forced fumbles, 1 safety, and, remind you, as a defensive tackle, got 2 interceptions. He made 1 Pro Bowl appearance in the 1993 season. Now, for Mark Gilbert's cousin, former superstar cornerback Darrelle Revis. Revis had 29 interceptions in his career, returning 3 of those for touchdowns, and he also had 4 forced fumbles and 2 sacks. But he wasn't called Revis Island just for his numbers, and his legacy proves that. Revis made an astounding 7 Pro Bowls in an 8-year span between 2008 and 2015. On top of that, Revis also had 4 first-team All-Pro honors in 2009, 10, 11, and 2014. If Mark Gilbert can stay healthy and tap into those football bloodlines at the NFL level, he could be a steal in this year's NFL draft. That rounds out this very impressive list of defensive backs with football family connections in the 2021 NFL draft. I'm sure there might be more that I've missed along the way, as there's literally hundreds of draft prospects, but I wanted to focus this video specifically on the crazy defensive back class where so many of them had NFL pedigrees to match their talents. Before I end this video, I did want to briefly mention 2 other players I found during my research with NFL pedigrees that didn't play corner. First off is Josh Peterson, a tight end out of the University of Louisiana, Monroe. His father was former NFL quarterback and former head coach of the Eagles, Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson even hosted the drills for Josh Peterson at his pro day last month. Josh Peterson is considered a late round tight end prospect. The second draft prospect is Wyatt Davis, the offensive guard out of Ohio State. Wyatt Davis is actually considered in the top 5 of interior offensive linemen entering this draft class, and his size and power at the position can be linked to his football bloodlines. Davis is the grandson of Hall of Fame defensive end Willie Davis, who was drafted by the Packers in the 1956 draft. He played 10 years in Green Bay and was a part of those 5 Vince Lombardi title-winning teams, including playing in Super Bowls 1 and 2. Unfortunately, he played during a time period where sacks and tackles were not a recorded stat, so his true numbers will never be known. But what can't be denied is his raw physical power and strength that will hopefully translate in the bloodlines to Wyatt Davis as he plays offensive guard in the NFL. And there you have it. The 4 defensive backs looking to continue the legacy of great NFL careers of their fathers and family members, as well as a quick look at other NFL 2021 draft prospects with NFL roots. Did I miss any? Please add any that I've missed in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And please share this video with any of your friends who you think might enjoy this look at football history. Consider subscribing yourself if this is something that you're interested in as well. And as always, thank you so much for watching and supporting my videos. It means a lot. See you guys next time.